MMA aficionados. I am Jason Burgos from Sherdog.com, and with me tonight is one of the true hidden gems of the Bellator roster. At 10-0, he will look to further his case as one of the faces of the promotion's light heavyweight division's future, because he's a gem like that. And the man is a grappling stud. He is Jordan Young. Jordan, thank you for giving me some time tonight. A few days or about a week away from your big fight coming up at Bellator 224.
Yeah, Jason, I appreciate the intro and the kind words, brother. Thank you for your time tonight.
All right. Now, a whole bunch of questions. First, I wanted to go back to the Ruiz fight, the Anthony Ruiz fight. Often in that one round of action, you went to a Muay Thai plum, and it was very successful with some really nasty knees, some really good elbows. Is that something like you specifically saw, like preparing for the fight, like this would be something good to work on him? Or is it something you've been working on heavily at ATT that, it has just come along and this was just the right moment to unleash it on him?
Honestly, with Anthony Ruiz, I knew that he didn't want to strike at distance. He wanted to get in close. So I figured he would have no problem with me stepping in close to him. He would try to meet me in the middle and engage, which he did. So when we would engage, I knew that I had the better clinch, which I showed, and I dominated that. So when I would pull into him and look to engage in that clinch, he was already trying to pull into me to look for a body lock. So we would meet in the middle, and the clinch is going to do more damage than the body lock every time.
When you have a situation like that, and because I don't know, I don't know how it is like you when you're expert, you're a fighter, you're a professional fighter. When you have a clinch, can you feel like a strength advantage? Can you be like, damn, like I can really move him wherever I want. He can't stop this. Like, what happens when you lock on a really good plum and start having some success with it?
Yeah, there's a couple things. You can feel one how well you're able to move a guy around, but also if he starts firing shots off right away, like some successful shots, maybe something over the top, then you know that he's not just going to sit tight and play defensive when you grab a hold of his head, know.
Now, when you got Ruiz to the mat and took his back eventually, there was a calm to your movements. Now, Ruiz does have a lot of submission losses, but the dude does have 58 pro fights, so he's a veteran, a wily veteran at that. 10 fights now into your career, do you feel like everything is starting to slow down in there more? You're getting the reads easier, you're seeing things in there a lot easier, and things are flowing naturally more so than they did for you, say, 3 or 4 fights ago?
Yeah, most definitely. Also, I was flowing well 3 to 4 fights ago. I've definitely gotten better, but I would say that my vision of the transitions has gotten better. Seeing the transitions before they happen, and on the ground, everything's always been slowed down. On the feet, I'm comfortable as well, but sometimes things can move a little faster with the 4-ounce gloves and whatnot. So, if anything, I'd say fight by fight, I'm getting more comfortable with the 4-ounce gloves.
When you're in there and you're seeing things like what is it like in terms, because you mentioned already a couple things that you're already comfortable with, so they were easier and you're feeling in the flow in there before this fight, long before this fight. But for the things that you're still working on, is it simply a thing like before when you were uncomfortable getting used to it, you're kind of thinking in there too much, and that is slowing you down in that particular way, and now that you're farther along, you're more comfortable? It's just become instinctive thing. It just becomes natural. You don't even have to think. Is that the transition you're making into the areas you're getting better at?
Yeah, more so just not overthinking situations, and fear isn't the right word, but like being concerned with, I guess, like, oh, I don't want to get taken down and lose this round, things like that. When you're worried about those things, then you can become hesitant, as to where when you're aware of them and prepared for them, you'll continue to do what you're doing, but it's in your head,
Now, every fight, especially for you at this point, you're still young in your career, but you are progressing along very, very quickly. Every fight is about development. Every fight is about progression. Where do you feel you progressed from the training camp for Ruiz going into this fight in about a week or so? How do you feel you've grown even more in that amount of time?
Honestly, I fought Anthony Ruiz on November 30th, 2018, so it's been quite a long time. By the time I get in the cage, we're looking at 8 months, so it's been a long time. I've made improvements, most definitely, but I've had 4 or 5 opponent changes for this fight alone, so
wow,
it's hard to pinpoint like one specific area that like I improved in for this fight. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm fighting a wrestler, so I'm working on wrestling. Right. I can feel my wrestling got better. I have no idea. until like 2 days ago, what type of style or anything body type that I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been focusing on myself and being in the moment. And come fight night, I'll look to capitalize.
Now, during the broadcast of the Ruiz fight, Chael Sonnen mentioned you were working with Colby Covington in the lead up for this fight. Working at ATT is great for any fighter, especially someone on the rise like yourself, and working with the wealth of talent that they have there. Who are some of the fighters and trainers you would say have been a really big influence out of that camp for you?
Yeah, say I don't know what Chael was talking about. I didn't say that. Kobe's cool. I like
Oh,
Kobe, but I didn't work with Kobe before that fight.
all right.
Say they just be speaking on me any type of way. They don't. I didn't get no interview with Chael. Chael didn't ask me who I was working with. But anyways, though, there's a lot of good coaches and training partners in my gym.
Mm-hmm.
My boxing coach Dyer, my boxing coach Paulie Gloves, my Muay Thai coach Maka Hone, my head coach Conan Severia, my other head coach Mike Brown. These are all great individuals who have a wealth of knowledge
Yep.
when it comes to combat sports and MMA particularly. And, I also have my training partners who are world class, but they're all in their own journey right now looking to become top 10 or world champion. So, honestly, I couldn't give enough praise and thanks to American Top Team and everybody involved in the progression of my journey.
Now, I've often heard about, for example, just one example of King Mo. He's been like a mentor type, a big brother type to many fighters there. And is there someone like, is it him maybe, or is there any fighter that you feel like in that time since you've been there that has really taken you under their wing and really showed you the ropes of not just stuff in the cage, but how to be a fighter and all the professional elements that come out of it, out of the cage? Any guy that's really been that for you?
I get a lot of love from some of the OGs in the sport. My first MMA coach was Josh Neer. I'm actually
Oh,
bringing
okay.
him up to this next fight. Josh shows me a lot of support and love. When you're talking South Florida, King Mo has shown me a lot of love. Me and King Mo have gotten quite close since his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we weren't cool before he was retired, but we were in the same division, and it wasn't any type of awkwardness or anything like that. But like we weren't the closest. You know what I mean? We'll
Right.
say what's up and shit. Now I'll be on the phone. I can find myself on the phone with King Mo, chopping it up about the sport and different stuff like that.
Mm.
He's a real knowledgeable guy. Jorge Masvidal shows me a lot of love. I helped him for the Darren Till fight.
Okay.
A lot of times I don't ask for anything to like help guys get ready for fights because a lot of times they'll be willing to turn around and help you. But say like, Masvidal, he broke me off financially for that Darren Till fight. I was his sparring partner whenever he called me and needed work, and little things like that stand out to you. And as far as somebody taking me under their wing and showing me the game, no one's co-signed for me or like took me under the wing and made sure she was straight for me. But Masvidal has definitely showed the most amount of love, and I think that that will stick with me when I get in that position and I'm touching six figures a fight, and someone helps me out, a young gun. I'll definitely show the same love that was shown to me. It's a good example from a veteran fighter to a younger fighter.
Now, going back to this fight, and you mentioning you've had like 4 or 5 different possible opponents going into this. I was told one person by Bellator, I was told another person by one of your coaches. Like when you have something like that 4 to 5 times, and we just talked about, you can't necessarily say, oh, I've been getting it better at this because you're not sure what you're preparing for, so it's hard to do that. How frustrating is that? I get that it happens early in a career and it happens often, but you've been with the company for a while. Does that kind of get frustrating? Like, damn, I've been here a while, I've won a lot of fights. Can we just get an opponent set straight and keep it that way for a while?
Yeah, it could be frustrating, but it's a part of the sport. Like I don't believe that Bellator wants these guys to fall out. Like I think if they had it their way, then the first guy would have stuck, and we would have had a fight to promote. If I had to put one thing on them, though, I would say keep me a little more active. I've been healthy. I haven't fought since November. There's no real excuse for that or reason for that part. I think that having me more active would be what needs to happen more so than anything else. The opponent changes is whatever. Like I said, I don't necessarily believe it's Bellator's fault all the way.
No. Now you still, not to harp on anything on Bellator's
Right,
part
right.
because
For sure.
my next question kind of might be down that alley, but you still have yet to break on to a main card for Bellator. I mean, I understand you're a patient guy, and we talked about it last year when I interviewed you around this time too. You know, getting money in terms of your new contract, and that putting you on a main card meant Bellator getting money out of their investment in you. And but after a 5-0 start with the company, 10-0 overall, do you start to feel like, damn, I'm overdue. I need to be on the main card. I've done enough. It's time to kind of get that Bellator marketing machine behind Jordan Young. It's time. Let's get on the main card.
Yeah, most definitely. But more so than feeling like I need to get on the main card, I feel like I need to get paid. Like last year when I spoke to you, I think my reason for telling you that I wasn't going to say anything negative about Bellator was, yeah, I may not be getting put on the main card, but my check is the same.
Yeah.
I have a different complaint. My check is the same, but when you stretch that out for 8 months, that check becomes a regular check. You know what I'm saying? Like the check was good for 3 months, 4 months. That was great money. When you double that time period, now it became average money. So my complaint would be not keeping me active more so than putting me on the main card, because I believe the main card's going to come for sure. That's inevitable. The more active I fight, like, you know what I mean? I could have fought. I've been healthy this whole year. I could have fought at least once, maybe twice by the summertime now. That, let's say I had fought 2 times and I'm 12-0, then it would be atrocious if I wasn't on the main card.
Yeah.
So I still feel that there's still a fight or two to play with before we say that it's a disrespect that I'm not there. It's the time period in between that is kind of crazy. 8 months is a long time for a 24-year-old undefeated fighter.
So what happens in a situation like that when a good check goes to just an okay check? Has it gone to a situation like you have to do some extra work on the side, like training sessions to make some extra money, or leading, coaching some stuff? Do you have to do anything like that, or hasn't gotten that bad at least?
That's what the rest of the MMA game has to do. To hold seminars and do things like this. I'm not really into that type. Don't get it twisted. I'll hold a seminar and do things like that, but I'm not looking to make this a job quite yet.
Yeah.
I don't have to teach anything to anybody. I just want to be able to fight and advance my career. So for me, I'm a hell of a hustler. I always make it happen. I'm a big general and a big provider. So I make sure that myself, my girlfriend, and our Great Dane are always well accounted for and taken care of, and that the bills are paid. But in all honesty, you can become kind of negative and kind of pissy on the back end because it's something that's out of my control. I can't make the phone call and say I'm fighting on this date. I have to wait for somebody to call me. And then I have management that I work with as well. Great management, the best management in the sport, in my opinion, Janus Sports. But at the same time, how can I? It can become type awkward when they're reaching out to me and I'm like, what's going on? They're like the middleman. You know what I'm saying? It's not their decision either, and they don't get paid unless I get paid. So I just try to do my best job at realizing who's to blame, which is most of the time not the person that you want to blame. So, and then I've also come to realize too, me trying to fight Bellator or get on here with you and talk crazy about Bellator on Sherdog would be the equivalent of, somebody trying to take on the government after, an officer, takes out innocent, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't win that battle. I just can do my part, which is win fights and be myself. And I believe that I'm a hell of a marketable person. I'm a one of one in this sport. You don't get on the Skype with anybody else and see someone who looks like me and talks like me in this sport. People don't. People aren't cut like from this cloth in this sport, and that's okay. But people will see it about me sooner than later.
Now, light heavyweight is a division in flux for Bellator. The champion's defending titles in 2 weight classes. Hopefully, he defends it in light heavyweight first. We mentioned before, King Mo, he retired recently. Linton Vassell went to heavyweight. Chael Sonnen retired. Outside of Vadim Nemkov, there is a clear opportunity to fill a void in the top spots in this division. While you may not have gotten that main card spot yet, do you feel it could be next after this, win, assuming you get it, and maybe against an established name like a Phil Davis, a Liam McGee? Do you feel, get another win? Things like that might seem a little bit more possible now.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm not. The tables always turn, and once again, we're nearing the end of another contract. I don't want to say a number or anything like that, but there's things that come into play, and the business has to be right. I'm going to come outside of the other side of this fight in the winner's circle, and I'm going to sit back and plan my moves. I would like to get back in there before the year's over. I think that another 8-month break would be atrocious. You know what I mean? I think that 3 to 4 months is max what needs to happen for me.
Is this the last fight on your deal, or is a couple more?
No. You'll see me in the Bellator cage again after this next
Okay.
fight, and then it'll be time to talk business.
Now, I mentioned Nemkov earlier, and he only has 2 more fights than you, yet he has been given opportunities against a Philip Lins, a Lee McGee, and Phil Davis, like I just mentioned. Does that bother you a bit that a foreign fighter seems to be getting a little bit more spotlight love at this moment? And are you interested maybe fighting him next and taking some of that spotlight away from him and proving maybe that you are the prime rising top prospect in the division that's close to a title shot?
Yeah, I think that Nemkov has done great things in the division. I would like to be at the top of the division as well. So if that's who's in my way, then, we can go ahead and do it reminds me a little bit of a Rocky movie. You got the one of the top fighters from America and one of the top fighters from Russia, and we can figure out who is going to go ahead and title or challenge for that belt next. I don't feel offended by the opportunities he got because the fight game is very complicated game and everybody's situation is different. Who knows? At the time, Felipe, he of course now he's the PFL heavyweight tournament winner, but at the time he didn't really have too big of a name for himself, and you never know what the situation was like. Maybe he was brought in as a foreign fighter to take a loss against one of these guys, and then he went ahead and did the opposite and then put himself on the map and couldn't be denied. So I don't look at it as if he's being pushed harder than me. I think that he's won he's beat some more marketable names, some bigger names, and that's put him in position. But yes, I do understand that the Bellator marketing machine is what is needed to really get your image out there and get it to stick and resonate with their fans. I've had that conversation with Bellator before as well. I'm very intelligent and I see the different parts of the game, and that is what can frustrate me, is that when I feel like someone is maybe taking my knowledge for granted or doesn't quite think I see the full picture when, this is what I do. I understand business.
Now, speaking of Davis and McGee, I mean, this seems likely. You would probably fight one of these guys because you're right there. You're one of the better fighters in the entire division. Are you interested in a fight with those guys? And because, I mean, you have made a reputation as a fantastic grappler. Those 2 guys are very good grapplers along with Ryan Bader. Is it not only just to fight them on the name value and status value, but to test your grappling against some of the very best and see who is the elite level grappler in this Bellator light heavyweight division?
Yeah, I don't look to do it to try to prove who's the best grappler or anything, because in most situations, I don't look to initiate the grappling. Dudes are initiating the grappling with me, and then I seize the opportunity to finish. But, I definitely would like to challenge these guys. These are the best fighters in the division of this promotion. So, I definitely would like to show that I'm top dog over here as well as one of the best fighters in the world. I think that that's the route to do it.
Now, last question, away from fighting, you just mentioned it a little while ago, because you told me, you have the bigger house now, or a better living arrangement last time we talked. You got the girlfriend, you got the Great Dane you mentioned. What are your personal passions away from fighting? What do you like to do? You said you're an intelligent guy. What kind of things are you into? Are you a history buff? Do you like to travel? What are your personal passions that might surprise fans that like, oh, Jordan Young's into that? What are some of those things? Tell me some things.
Man, I can list a few things. I told a couple people that I was into comic books recently.
Nice. Yes.
They were thrown off by that. Yeah, I love comic books. Jason Aaron is my favorite.
He's a good one.
Yeah, he's my favorite at the moment. Conan the Barbarian is my favorite character. I'm more of a Marvel guy, I guess you could say. And then outside of that, I love to spend time with my girlfriend and my Great Dane. We like to do everything from playing with toys, of course, outside to watching cooking shows on one of these little apps.
What about MasterChef? Are you a MasterChef guy?
Yeah, we watch MasterChef. That's the one where they go. They each time they're cooking like something from across the country, like different countries, right?
Yeah, the one on Channel 5 with Gordon Ramsay or Fox 5 or whatever.
Yeah. We're big Gordon Ramsay fans.
Yes.
I seen Gordon Ramsay I see he follows some MMA fighters
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. I would assume that he pays attention to the sport. If he gets a chance to listen to this, he should fuck with those who fuck with him. And I like Jordan. Yeah.
Now and that's how I know you are intelligent. You are a Marvel guy, not a DC guy. So if you're a Marvel guy, aside from Conan, give me Jordan Young's top 3 favorite Marvel characters.
Yeah, let's see if we can bring you over here right here to the little comic book collection.
Nice. I
See
don't know
what
if
we
you can
got
see
going.
I've got quite a Funko Pop collection and collection of my own.
This is my little two shelves
All
right here.
right.
Honestly, something that I picked up I think is a gem.
Uh-huh.
Personally, I'm a big Thanos fan.
Oh.
I was able to scoop up. It's like a line that came out before the actual movie was like a thing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's really good. But I like Jason Aaron a lot, like I said.
Yeah.
So I've been messing with Thor and as well as Captain America, Deadpool. You know, a wide range of characters.
What about non-Marvel, like
Say
Walking Dead or something like that?
say on TV, I watch most of the series. I actually have been trying to find a new one to get into. My girlfriend and I, we rotate through like a lot of like fun shows, like the cooking shows and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. She just found a new one that's on HBO. It was I forget what it was called, but yeah, it's always fun finding new things to get into and kill the time.
Yeah, There's
You got any
There's
recommendations?
one on Netflix that they go to different like restaurants, like the 5-star restaurants around the world, and they're very unique and they have background story. I forget. I think it's called Chef's Table. Chef's Table. You gonna
Uh
like
huh.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. We're my girlfriend said we're watching which one? The Final Table right now. That's the one that
Oh,
we're.
all right. Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. So, but outside of that, if I'm not on there, then you can catch me on Fortnite. I like a little Fortnite or a little Mortal Kombat 11. Those are my
All
vibes.
right. All right.